Hello everyone. Today we will talk about inventory and its valuation method and which one is most suitable for you. Now you must be thinking, what is inventory? Let me answer this question with an example. Suppose you are a manufacturer of sugar. You purchase sugarcane which is processed in a machine to form sugar. So our inventory comprises of sugarcane under processing, and final product, that is sugar. Hence, inventory is asset held for sale, that is finished goods, which is sugar in our case. Assets in the process of production, that is work in progress, which is sugarcane under processing. Asset as material or supplies to be consumed, that is raw material, which is sugarcane. And these three terms, which is finished goods, work in progress, and raw materials, are basically our components of inventory. Finished goods are inventory that is ready for sale. Work in progress, inventory in the process of manufacture. And raw materials are the inventory which is in the production but not yet been used. Now, there are various methods used by an entity to evaluate the value of their inventory. These are called inventory valuation method. We will discuss the four most commonly used valuation method. The first one is FIFO, that is first in, first out. In this method, the goods purchased first are assumed to be sold first. Suppose you are a trader of pens. You purchase 10 pens on the first day and 11 pens on the second day. Then you sold 5 pens on the third day. It will be assumed that the sales is made from the pens purchased on day 1 first. Now, when to consider whether to opt for FIFO. If you are an entity having a further objective of calculating cost of goods sold, or you deal in quickly perishable goods, the FIFO is the most appropriate method for you. Now let's move on to another method, which is weighted average cost method, or we can say WAC method. This method gives emphasis on evaluating average cost per unit between the oldest and the newest products purchased. So, when we can consider the weighted average cost method, if you are an entity who produces a single unit, this method gives accurate way of valuing inventory. Or you are an entity who wants to evaluate the entire inventory, or there is lot of fluctuation in the prices, this method is more appropriate as it can create average that may be better representation than exact. Now we proceed to our third method, that is lifo, or we can say last in, first out. This method assumes the last item purchased is the first one to be sold. It is rarely used in practice as only selling recent purchase or manufacture risks the older product of being obsolete and unsellable. In spite of being rarely used, some businesses can leverage the method LIFO. Let's understand when the business can consider LIFO. Businesses can use this method to save their income taxes. It can also be put to use in a business where the value of inventory increases by time. For example, company who sell wines or rare watches. Now let's come over to our today's last method of valuation, that is specific identification method. This is a very simple method. In this method, inventory is valued by calculating cost of each individual unit of a product. In spite of being simple and accurate process, it is rarely being used as it can only apply to inventories with items that are clearly registered and identified. So let's see which business can consider this method. If you are an entity who generally deals in large inventory items, for example automobiles such as car, this method would be a great choice for you. Now, as we understand the four most commonly used inventory valuation method, there is more important factor required to be considered before selecting a method for your entity, that is location. As depending upon the location, there are various laws and bylaws you should comply with. It is considered to be a very crucial factor. For example, in India, if you are an entity who must comply with Indian accounting standard, you can opt from fifo, lifo, and weighted average for your business functioning and complying with the standards at the same time. At last, we can sum up by saying that the inventory valuation method chosen by an entity should fit that entity's need. Of course, where they are located will impact the decision. Also, the level of taxation within the country, the variation or volatility of prices within each market, the size and the type of the product made, the per unit cost, and other factors will also need to be considered as well. This is it for today's video. I hope you liked and understand the topic. Thank you so much.